Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Congratulations to Seth Manfield. The Mythic Invitational is now complete. And today we're actually going to cover a deck from the Mythic Invitational. Additionally, this is the deck that I played for the Mythic Qualifier myself. So one of the ones that I saw that was making waves early on and did finish in the top 4, so that's a good hint for you. With that said, Planeswalkers, before we get started and take a look at this deck that I'm very excited to talk through with you today, I just want to say thank you for your support. As always, please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. If you like the video, please like it. Additionally, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. All right, Planeswalkers, what are we playing? Well, we have a historic deck for you today, and it is by Luis Salvatto. So we're playing a Rakdos Arcanist deck. So I chose to play this deck as my choice for the Mythic Qualifier, which was a historic tournament, primarily because I thought, one, it was rather interesting. I did do a lot of playtesting and hit into the top 800 with it as well, and found a lot of success. However, I will say I think a lot of players probably adjusted also after seeing some of the matches, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute as well. So I do want to play Luis Salvatto's deck for you here in its prime, because I think that's as we do and how we do with main board, and then we'll play some best of 1 and we'll play some best of 3. But before we do so, let's dive into the deck and talk about it here a little bit, talk about some of the sideboarding, how we'd sideboard, and go from there. So first off, Planeswalkers, this deck here is a sacrifice deck, and it leverages Lurrus of the Dream Den, which is our companion. It's got lifelink. Every permanent card, so permanent only, has to be mana cost 2 or less, so it works really well with our Arcanist Dreadhorde, or Dreadhorde Arcanist friend here. And then during each of our turns, we may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from a graveyard. So lots of ways to shut the graveyard down in everyone's favorite historic. We got things like Leyline. We also have things like Grafdiggers, and to be honest, what I found particularly recently and also going into their open, you got Gobbles running Leyline. So we have to take that in consideration. We'll talk a little bit about how we sideboard around that. I do think Mr. Salvatto's sideboard could be optimized slightly now with what we've seen. Additionally, it struggles, this Rakdos deck struggles against enchantments in general. So with that, let's keep looking here and see what we got going on. This list is available for you down below in the description. And again, just quickly covering these, and we'll circle back here in a minute. It also runs 23 lands. For me, I probably like to run 22 to 20, particularly for best of 1. 22 is a fairly safe number when really we only got a top end at 3, and most of our stuff's at 2. So you get moving on that, and you're doing pretty good. So quickly, this deck is all about Dreadhorde Arcanist. So for those of you that don't know, this is a zombie wizard with trample. Whenever it attacks, we may cast target instant or sorcery card from our graveyard with converted mana cost less than or equal to Dreadhorde. So as you can see, everything here runs at 1, so it fits perfectly. And then if you need to get Bedevil back, we can activate it here with Fame. So a couple key considerations and things to remember. And that spell, we get it essentially if it's sorcery, cast at instant speed, and that card then goes in exile. So that does work against Kroxa, but it also activates with Young Pyromancer, which is going to be key. So these engines become very powerful, very fast. A ideal turn 1 is Thoughtseize into a turn 2 Dreadhorde into a turn 3 that gives you a Pyromancer, where you can activate Thoughtseize and then potentially do some other lovely fun here. A couple things here. We got Archfiend, we got Spark Harvest, we got Stitcher Supplier to fill the graveyard. We got our lovely Thoughtseize, which is now absolutely a staple of every black deck. And then we have Village Rites, Claim the Firstborn, 1 Priest as well. Like I said, we got Young Pyromancer, so this is a key sack engine for draw, also flooding the board. Lovely Kroxa for later game. So Claim Fame is a very important card. So this is return target creature card with mana 2 or less from our graveyard. We can also give it haste, so doing something like this on top of Archfiend is pretty impressive. As 7 5 flyer at 3 cost is pretty sweet. It's almost as good as the Rotting Reg flyer, but not quite. So with that, Planeswalkers, those are kind of the key components here. We're going to talk a little bit about the sideboard and then how to sideboard. So as I mentioned, we got to worry about Graph Diggers and Leyline, and this deck will look completely different, and you'll see that when we get to the sideboard. So we got Duress. Duress you're going to want to run against a counter match. You're going to run this against any of the control decks, so that's going to be Azorius. You're also going to want to run it against some of the burn decks that are out there. There's the Mono Red Burn. Also, Izzet decks are still flying around. And you're going to play it against Sultai as well. Next, Magma Spray. So this is going to work really well against Goblins, any other aggro deck, against sack decks. Any general sack, which we know that there was a ton of sack decks, Jund Sack and the likes. Red Cat Melee. Again, creature-based deck, any Goblins deck, any aggro deck works well against Planeswalkers as well when you run into those. And additionally, again, as I mentioned, sack decks. Next, Abrade. So Abrade's a very powerful card for us. So I want to just spend a minute here because not only can we deal damage against creature, we can destroy target artifacts. So those of our opponents that are running Graph Diggers, this is going to be the key sideboard card for us, not only from a creature perspective. And you got to kind of anticipate. Sometimes you may not see Graph, you may not see Leyline, and you may run into it game 3. So we just need to be optimistic as well as pessimistic and altogether careful in terms of how you're sideboarding, because it can cost you the game, particularly the way that you're going to need to build this deck. But something like a Gobbles will most likely run Leyline. Because they need they can't have Graph Diggers and they need to search. So you just keep those kinds of things in mind. But again, very powerful. You're still going to want to run this against Gobbles because you're going to want to take off those creatures off the board. Next, we got Angrus Rampage. So here, sacrifice artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Any of those 3, it's going to run really well against. Abrade as well is going to work great against other sack decks like the Jund stuff as well. We got to get that oven off the board. Same with Angrus. Now, here are the 2 other key components I want to talk about, which is Vengeance. So quick shout out to Janky here. So I played Janky the other day running this deck. It did not perform well for me. But Janky was running a Mono Black Gift because that was the deck that got him knocked out of the Invitational, I believe. And so hats off there, and Janky fun match nonetheless. And what I should have done, so this is a key call out here, is I should have put Witch's Vengeance in because this will take out zombies. So you're going to want to run this against things like zombie decks. You're going to want to run, which is Mono Black Gift. You're going to want to run this against Goblin decks. You're going to want to run this against Elf decks. This is a key thing to consider. You also may want to run it against Mirror Match. If they get a bunch of tokens on the board, it will wipe your tokens. You can also get rid of the zombie wizards as well from that perspective. So a couple things to keep in mind. Very powerful card right now. A lot of players running this as well in the sideboard. Hazoret the Fervent. So this deck does run 3 of, which is good. I ran 2, and then you end up exiling your own. You run into a problem. And I think that was Janky's match, actually. You got to keep that in mind because you only sideboard 2 in. Anyway, how do you get this in? Well, one, you got to dump Lurrus. So you take Lurrus out, the deck looks completely different. We dump in Hazoret the Fervent, and then we begin to choose how we want to sideboard here based off what our opponents are playing. But the deck takes on a totally different look and feel and things that we just need to keep in mind. With that said, we'll use that as a great segue to talk about how we're going to sideboard. So one, our opponents running Graph Diggers or they're running Leyline. Generally, if they're running Graph, we still have some recovery and have a chance to play from a graveyard. You're still probably going to take Lurrus out because we do only have 3 things that will hit. But it could be a risk that you run, and maybe you want to run Hazoret the Fervent instead. But you're going to want to either try and race. So if you do that, you got to be cognizant. If you do have Dreadhorde, you're not going to be able to pull. You'll still have the body on the board, but you're going to need to get access to Abrade or Angrus to really help clear things up. Otherwise, you can take a completely different approach move heavy into the sideboard pieces here. Pull Hazoret the Fervent in, take the risk by removing actually Dreadhorde, maybe Archfiend, and then Stitcher for filling some of the board. And that can be a good out for you as well, or maybe even Kroxa. However, I have found success, again, if you can move really quickly and they don't have Leyline in their starting hand, or obviously Grafdiggers early on. But Leyline is a bigger problem for us than Grafdiggers, because we can at least respond to Grafdiggers. Leyline, if they're running Leyline, so option 2 here, you're absolutely going to want to play a lot of different things. You're probably going to want to pull Stitchers out. You may want to pull Archfiend. If they're a control deck, not a creature deck, you're going to want to take Priest out. You may still want to keep Dreadhorde. You may want to keep Kroxa just to get them out on the discard. But we're going to have a lot harder time trying to take over the board, and that's where Hazoret the Fervent's going to come in, because we're going to need this guy to seal the deal for us. So when we talk about those kinds of things, the sideboarding considerations against control, the sideboarding considerations against aggro are primarily still going to be based around those things. You're obviously not going to sideboard in some of the direct damage if they aren't aggro, and that's creature damage. And if they aren't, you're still going to do things like duress, and then if they are aggro, you'll go this way and then depend on Hazoret and those things. So Planeswalkers, there you have it. Lots of talking from me. Very, very pumped, as you can tell, about playing this deck. I've been playing it a ton with great success, but we're going to jump into some Mythic matches. I shouldn't say but, and I'm going to jump into some Mythic matches. I'm around 97%, I think, right now, so mid to top 90s, something like that. And looking forward to getting back in the top 1500, and maybe we'll get there today. So let's go ahead and play some Historic Ranked with Luis Salvatto Rakdos Arcanist deck. Now, Planeswalkers, as always, deck list is available for deck free down below. Questions, comments about my gameplay, please feel free to ask down below. Appreciate your support, as always. Also, please feel free to subscribe down over there. Always appreciate that. If you liked the video, please like it. Additionally, you can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. And looking forward to seeing you around more, whether this is your first or 100th time, and appreciate that sub. All right, let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to play Asylum here. Very interesting for us. I'm actually going to keep it, even though it's not ideal, but we'll get a turn 2 play. So could be a gift deck. We'll find out here. We'll go Arcanist. Oof. That one hurt. Hurt. No, not a gift deck. Ugins. So it's Mono Black Tron, which this deck is super rough. Ooh, 2 of those, huh?
My allies are counting on me.
Ah, Grafdiggers. So, we will claim on Arcanist. We will do this on Arcanist. And attacks in general. So we'll go to combat. And we'll get graph stickers out of there.
I will endure.
Now we're doing this to get some draw and deal some damage. So we can hit there. Well, we can do a few things. Not gonna pull him back yet. What's this gonna do? I don't want to lose Luris yet.
I shall withdraw from this petty squabbling.
That's fine. They're still gonna hit Ritual there. And we can bring Luris back in. We're still sitting okay, which is good. Alright, so we're going to do this. I am going to actually bring... Well, I'm not going to bring Young Pyromancer back. Oh, maybe I will. Yeah, it was a slight misplay. I should have played Croxa there. We'll do this. Oh, I could have put claim on Young. There too. Millstone will be a draw. So they can't do more there. And they need 3 lands, so he's got it with Millstone. And that's what they're waiting on. I can bring back the double. We go. We still have claim. We will do this. So now we have only a few ways to bring back a Dread Horde. We don't need Priest. Claim off. Go with 1 Young. And then we just claim on Croxa, and it should be game. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So we're gonna have to top deck a kill spell here. Boom! There we go. Rakdos Arcanist taking down a best of 1 match, moving into 98%. Alright, Planeswalkers, on to our second match here. I'm going to move that. Looking pretty good with our Luis Salvatto deck. Top 4 Mythic Invitational. Power Ranger Rosa it is. Oh, just what we want to see to start our second match. So we got a Lurrus deck. It's probably going to be the same. We can keep this one. This is a good one. What do I want to get rid of here? I'm going to dump a land because we only need 2. What do I want to start with, though? I don't. This is fine. Unless we draw into... We're going to go a mountain. And we're doing that in case we draw into... Alright, so it's an Aura's deck. We don't have any sack yet. We're going to keep popping Croxa back here. Hopefully drain. Oh. Just thinking if there's a way around this. I don't think there is, unfortunately. And we didn't get any sack on their end. Too bad I couldn't steal attack and then nuke my own guy there. There's not enough to pull it back. If we would have waited one turn, though, they might have killed us. Now, I could have hit. I don't have any... Oh. Actually, that was the play. I should have attacked in, stole Ornithopter, and then hit him. Like I said, I was not paying attention to my... Shoot. That was the play, and we had it. That would have gave us back control in the game. Oh, misplays. Should have looked at the graveyard a little bit more. That is a bummer. Back down to 97%. All right, on to our third best of 3 match. Traditional historic ranked. Here we go. Shoot. I'm like, I should have thought a little bit harder about that claim. So we would have pulled him, and then we would have hit him where he couldn't protect his guy. Which is too bad. Alright, Timur, a top 100 player here. We're going to take on with our Rakdos Arcanist deck. So this is a But I think this is a burn deck. It's either a burn deck or it's a sack deck. One of the two. We will keep this as we go first. I'm actually going to use this first. Grab that so we can get Pyromancer on the board. And that's what it looks like it's going to be. Good old burn deck. So we're going to have to play this a lot differently here. We'll see if he trades. Now we could have done something similar. We kept pinging Crocs in. Works really well against these mono decks. Thank you. Wanted to get that off the board. Roll the graveyard. Could. We'll give it a risk here. We will shut the draw down. There we go. Figured they would eat everything there. What else do we have in here still? So they can block with Bone, hit with Grim. So we just gotta be careful there. We do have Lockwind too. So they gave us game because all we need to do is cast twice. There we go. Boom, there we go. First one down against our top 100 friend here. Whew. So, this is going to be an interesting one. I think we play Duress. They're probably going to do Graph Diggers. So, we'll play these. This is not going to be a problem. That's not going to be a problem. These two won't be a problem. I'm going to grab that. We've done really well. I think we drop Luris. To be honest, it's going to get burned anyway. I think we go like this. Now, the question is, we got 11 cards, and we're at 22. Let's dump that one. I think we get rid of Priest. All these things can get burned real easily. We have 69 left. We obviously won with Croxa. They're going to go Graph. So we can either be... We can push it. Well, let's drop one Hazoret. Yeah. Let's dump Firstborn. It did help us a little bit, but not as much as we would have liked. We'll jump Archfiend. That gives us 5 more. Let's go 2 Village Rites. 1 Stitcher, 2 Stitcher, and 1 Arcanist. We're going to keep Claim for now. Play the Croxa thing. Make use of it as long as we can. It becomes significantly worse, though. But again, I'm assuming they're going to go Graph. So we still have options to remove Graph Diggers. So we're going to play a little bit longer game here. We'll try that. All right. Burn is a tough matchup, so good that we got through the first one there. Oh, terrible, terrible starting hand. And our opponent kept their 7. We're going to keep this. We're going to dump Hazoret. This is not a good start for us. Absolutely not. But at least we can see what they're running here. And this is going to be a problem if we don't see graphs, because then they're going to play a little bit different. You know, you consider sideboarding slightly differently. There's graphs. There we go. Oh, there we go. So we got a few different things here that are going to be really helpful in the short term. So he's got 2 there. We will nuke this guy first. Then we will sack. I'm gonna trade on 1 because the problem here is going to be, again, for me, that we needed. So it would have paid to not kill. We could have got one of them there. But that's alright. So we can't use this. It's not going to work. Lachlan will though. What do we have here that we would pull back? We can pull back a magma spray. That was weird. It didn't allow me to use that, but we will pull back a Stitcher supplier here. So we're not going to be able to pull anything there. We can do this though. Before we do that, let's see if there's anything of use. We got Angress, Rampage. So they have to top deck a burn. And they got it. There it is. That's the one problem with this deck when you play extremely aggressively. So again, we know that they're doing that. I think we might have to go Priest back in there. I don't know. Could go Priest. Could go Priest. I think we stick with it. We're on the play this time. Oh, that was unfortunate. So close. It was so close. We needed one more turn. One more turn there. Just couldn't quite get it. The Thoughtseize killed me. And the shocks and everything else. But we got everything out of their hands that we needed. It's close, 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 close. Good match. All right, Timor, let's see what you got going on here. When they take this long, it's like you wish you could go look at your deck more, but they're probably just going to the bathroom, grabbing some food, munching, chilling out. And the other problem is, if I would have pulled the Magma Spray back, wouldn't have made a difference on the top deck. There wasn't a play that I think we could have done differently, unfortunately. We did get Grafdiggers off, which was huge. And we have the answers, which is good to know. But that definitely helped us, them being stuck on 2 mana, but that's pretty embarrassing to lose that way. And look at this. Another. This is like my day, my friends. Look at this. No lands. Do I get that for going 23 or whatever? I don't know. Oh, and then I hit keep because I was so mad. Oh no. Oh no. That should have been a mulligan. Oh shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. What a way to blow it. It would be pretty funny if I came back and won this, though. So that is now worthless, except if we want to get that out of their hand. So we will do this. Well, they have Graph Diggers, they have Pillar Flame, and they got Jegantha. So we'll get rid of that. And then I don't need to do anything right now. I'm gonna leave it. There we go. It's gonna take 5, 4. We'll keep that one for now. Oh, good old Experimental Frenzy. So let's look. I could play Duress. And submit. He's got game though, which is unfortunate, but the way it goes. All they gotta do is sack. There you go. I will say, after that keep, and we actually slightly came back, I'm pretty surprised, to be honest. That could have been a totally different game, and that's what happens. But that's the way it goes. So anyway, Planeswalkers, there we have it. Let's go ahead and take a look again at the list. Killer first game, second game misplay, third game misplay is just, honestly, that's been like my magic week. So I apologize, and that's how it goes. So quickly here, let's go ahead and look at the deck. Again, I really like this deck. I have a lot of fun with it. Lots of mechanics to pay attention to, lots of things, you know, you got to be checking all the time. Very complicated, complex. I know a lot of you like it that way, but again, great deck. Congratulations to Luis Salvatto for making it as far as he did. Additionally, congratulations to Seth Manfield for their historic win with the Mythic Invitational. So with that said, Planeswalkers, here again is the deck list. Feel free to use it. It is down below in the description for you, so you have access to it right away. Additionally, my friends, please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. I always appreciate the support. If you did like the video, despite my my misplays and everything else, please feel free to like it if you do enjoy it, and then also feel free to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Can't be 100% winner all the time, my friends. That's the way it goes. So anyway, enjoy the Rakdos Sacrifice deck. Again, here's the sideboard for you. Hopefully you guys got some insights into how we play around Grafdiggers. We didn't see Leyline, which is a plus. A little bit harder to play around than Graph, as you could see. But very close, nonetheless. We almost beat a top 100 player. 2 bad keeps, cost of the game. Those mulligans are important, and that was me being upset. And a misclick that led to that, but I'm glad I played it out. We could have done something there. So anyway, Planeswalkers, take care, stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Enjoy Historic, enjoy this deck, and then if you have time, feel free to check out my Mythic Qualifier deck or matches with this deck. All right, stay safe. See you soon.